live, Pierre.
Are you serious? We are live? Welcome to the Morning Skate Show with the hockey coach Guru, Coach Francis, directly from the Florida Sunshine State. And we have to go all the way that way, or maybe that way, depends where you are. But it's in the West Coast in California, somewhere around LA, Mr. Michael DiVillano.
Good morning, Pierre.
We are on fire because it's November. November 1st, Michael. So it's November, and also it's a one thing we have to mention. November, Michael, is all about the hockey fight cancer, and this year it's a Dominic Moore. He's the speaker of this fight. So it's great to see Dominic when he was unfortunately lost his wife a couple of years ago about a cancer. So great to see Dominic Moore, and he's now involved with TV broadcasting, everything like that. So it's a big news in hockey. So that's the day number one of this fight, and hopefully we're going to give some donation and helping that cause for sure. So behind hockey, Michael, always something bigger, and the human being, everything like that. So I just want to mention this before we start the show today. And it's Monday. It's a new month. It's 2 months at the end of this year 2021. So anything you want to mention about this case and this cause, everything like that?
No, I mean, we're one more month closer to having Jakub Vrana back, hopefully, for the Detroit Red Wings. But so far, they've played pretty decent without him. But I'm excited. Hopefully, they stay healthy and they get him in. That'd be amazing.
Yep. So welcome, Mr. Darrell. Look like Darrell is the first one aboard this
Good morning, Darrell.
So Darrell, welcome. You have off work today. So you have a morning coffee, and I'm sure you enjoy the Sunshine State. Sunshine outside is warm in USA and Florida. We start below 70 this morning, I believe. So it was great to see that. And talking about welcome, Darrell. We're not welcome Michael Robinson directly from somewhere in Canada. And Michael is also the walk dog. We call him the walk dog. He's always walk the dog at 10:22, Michael, p.m. every night. The dog wants to get out at 10:22, not 20, not 24, 22.
My dog wants
to know that, Michael, because you have dogs.
Yeah, except my wolf, my husky, wants to go to 2 a.m.
That's the good news about that one over there.
Oh, my God. It's like last night again.
That's the reason I don't have a dog around me, Michael. So that's a good thing about that. Before we talk about the weekend, Michael, I think we have already a couple of news around the NHL. So why not to give you those information?
Yeah, let's do it.
After that, you can go through the resume or review all the game happening this weekend. But first, the Carolina Hurricane announced today Nino Niederreiter is going to be expect a couple of weeks out after LBI, a lower body injury got during the game during the weekend. So Friday night, so he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. And after that, they recall, and he played very well. Zeph Jarvis, the 19 years old, played during the game yesterday. It was great to see him. He was the 13th overall pick in 2020. And Michael slowly, not all the way, but a few players on the draft 2020 is getting back in NHL now. And some of them really successful, Michael, to see them. So great to see Zeph Jarvis. I think he's underrated on my eyes, this kid. A great hockey player. So it'll be interesting what he's going to do with that. Talking about something happening, I'm a little bit concerned, Michael. The last 7 days, we hear a lot of more cases. NHL COVID-19, players getting that. I don't understand. You get vaccination, and then you get, I don't know. But it's not the subject. But the Seattle Kraken announced yesterday Jared McCann and the coach, Paul McFarland, did not participate to the game yesterday because of that situation with them. And McCann have a good season so far. McCann, 8 games, has 7 points. 3 goals and 4 assists. So it was a big loss for them against the Rangers yesterday. Talking about the other injury, Colorado Avalanche announced Mikko Rantanen is a day-to-day with a lower body injury.
He's got so many injuries
out of the game again the win against the Minnesota Wild on Saturday. It's another blowout, a blow for the Carolina. They cannot stay healthy. It was great to see on the return, Michael Samuel Girard come back in the lineup, plays 19 at 27 minutes again in Minnesota. Talking about injury, the Los Angeles King announced the forward Victor Albrighson and Gabriel Villardi. He was placed on the NHL COVID-19. That's another news for that part over there. I know Albrightson's getting a little bit better. And Villardi have a difficult year so far.
I don't get it.
The way he played right now. He have only one goal in -5 in 7 games with them. Talking the same direction, Michael, the Pittsburgh Penguins announced Marcus Peterson and Chad Rotwindell is going also on the COVID-19 protocol yesterday. They recall Pierre-Olivier Joseph at that moment. And then, I don't know, but this is a new thing we start, Michael, now. Every time a player have a minus bad during the day, we call the police because -3, Michael, for the first time, Sidney Crosby and Jake Gwenzel, -3 for the first game Saturday night. So I just want to mention this. So
not good.
when the player get -3 and plus, we're going to call the police for them. We don't give them a ticket yet for Crosby. It was only his first game, but ever we have a player done the well, we're going to give him a ticket. Finally, the big news, Michael, you know already, the San Jose Sharks, unbelievable. 7 players, their coach, everybody got the COVID-19. Need to find a way to win 2-1 again. A team where now the Winnipeg Jets Saturday. But it's what do you think about the situation of the COVID-19 around the league? And it's not been since the beginning of the season. Many players miss because of COVID-19.
It's like the flu vax, dude. It's never going to go away. Like you're trying to inoculate against something that keeps changing. So we're going to see this forever.
Finally, Michael, let's go for finalist. The other meeting, other news is underway. Cedric Paquette for the Montreal Canadiens is going to be on the NHL safety hearing today after the impact on the Trevor Zegras yesterday, where I'm 50-50 on that one over there. I understand he should be a little bit careful, but at the same time, Michael, Zegras' turn is number at the end of the play, and you know how this quick Paquette could not stop at that moment. But again, this is what happening about that. I would not be surprised he got a 1 game minimum on that one because he got a major game misconduct. Usually you get a suspension, at least 1 game. 1 o'clock today, Gary Bettman is going to be faced to all the reporter about the case from Kyle Beach. So 1 o'clock today. And at 4 o'clock today, big meeting in NHLPA, the situation with the president commissioner for the NHLPA. Fear is going to have a big meeting with all the players, 1 per team, to figure out what they have to do. Possible there will be the last day of, I would not be surprised, is Fear the next couple of days, or maybe tonight, quit and leave his job. It would be really interesting about that one there because the players are not happy about the situation with Kyle Beach. So that's it for me. I don't talk for the next 50 minutes.
I'd be very surprised if Donald Fair is gone. I mean, I think it was referred to the player association, and I don't know if this was positioned. I guess it depends how it's positioned, right? But in the end, they got to do something. I'd be shocked.
I believe the reason happening, the player first of all, with all the respect for what he did not do on this, a lot of people failed and did not do their job right. But don't fear, he's been in that position for years in hockey and baseball. You know what I mean? Like he's not like 40 anymore. Like
no, he's been around.
So for me, I believe the pressure the NHL pay because many players are upset about this situation.
Oh, sure.
Will push back maybe him to do exactly what Kenville did because the timing at his age and maybe it's the time for him. You turn that, and I believe the next one's going to be there. For me, is Matthew Schneider. So is it today? I don't know. Or is maybe pushed back, like you said, maybe wait 6 months to find the next one. I really believe Matthew Schneider will be the next one, but I would not be surprised if he decide to quit today to do tomorrow.
See, in a labor union like that, there is a different environment, right? Where so it's like, you don't go to Donald Fair and refer this. It goes to someone in the union, and it's a collective idea. So I'd be shocked if he's gone. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that they'll say like, hey, we failed him, which they have said, and how do we fix this? And that's kind of the difference. Whereas, and they're saying, they will say, this is not a me discussion, this is a we discussion. So I'd be shocked if he's gone, but maybe.
One thing I would say, Michael, I know we talk a lot about this. I don't want to bring this, right? But this weekend, I heard something, and we never talk about this person all week last week. The agent at Kyle Beach. Nobody talked about him. Like, nobody mentioned what he knew, what he knows, everything like that.
He knew everything.
What he did, Michael, he directly called down Fear and let him know about the situation, and let him know Andrich was, at time, Michael, was with the USC team development, U18, after that. And he mentioned to them, Fear, be careful what happened with him, everything like that. So they gave the red flag to him. And that's why, for me, it's maybe important to mention that, because honestly, we never heard from him.
Raised it.
So,
right? If you're I get he's not in the NHL. So I don't know if that's part of the issue, but he's a draft pick. So I don't know how that covers him. And even Kyle Beach says, I don't know if that fits under that situation. But who's the AHL players union? I don't know if there's such a thing. I would imagine that falls under the NHL. You have an NHL draft pick or contract.
The key of his call, Michael, it was to call down Fear, to mention to him, and to turn around to advise, because the agent cannot do anything with Team USA, right? He cannot do anything. So he go from that direction to advise him to do something with Team USA. I just opened a door here. I don't want to mention past my
it's gonna be interesting to see how this shakes
about that. So anyway, Michael, we have some people in the house today. Why not said directly from Finland, Michael? We said Moy and Villino is a wizard. That's what we learned this weekend, a wizard. So welcome, Mr. Villino and Kelly, #1 fans of Toronto Maple Leaf, Frederic Anderson, Jonathan Bernier, and Jim Raymer. She loved all the goaltender left the organization. Maybe she liked Felix Potvin. I don't know. Never asked her. But she's in the house this morning, and Michael Rubenstein comments.
Michael Rubenstein, thank you so much. And he was agreeing with you. I don't disagree that he should go. I just be surprised if he does go. Draft picks are under agreement cap ones. Yeah, and that's what I figure. Like, it'll be interesting to see what they say about this.
And tomorrow, Michael, the settlement start tomorrow between Chicago and him. And the only weekend, Gary Bettman called Kyle Beach also. And then also, I forgot to give him, he has so many things. The Winnipeg Jet push back the meeting today between the owners and the general manager today, pushed to tomorrow because the owner is sick. You have something, so you have to push back tomorrow. So nothing again, like something like, like there's no one to talk about. It's just health problem, and push back to tomorrow. So I just want to mention this just happening right now.
All right. So if we shift to hockey, and you mentioned the 2020 draft and the players are slowly coming in, we know that Byfield's out with the ankle injury, broke his ankle basically. Stutzle's had a good entry into the NHL. I haven't really kept track of how he's doing offensively, but let's see. What has he got? He's got 4 points in 7 games, no goals yet. Lucas Raymond-Pierre is ripping it up. Like, even in a loss, he gets a point the other night. He looks great. And Moritz Seider is the second leading rookie scorer this year. And of course, there's Spencer Knight. So Spencer Knight's obviously a great rookie, not from this draft, from a prior draft, I believe. But you can see Jake Sanderson, we're anticipating him. Jamie Drysdale's playing a lot. He's a -11, but he's getting lots of ice time. In the AHL, Jack Quinn's doing great. I haven't kept track of Marco Rossi, but I thought he had a great camp. I was surprised he's not. He's playing in Iowa. He's got 4 points.
No, he's doing well. He just scored this weekend again. Like, I would not be surprised the kid get called up at some point over there.
4 points in 4 games, Pierre, so that's pretty good. Cole Perfetti has 3 points, including 2 goals in 4 games in the AHL. So you can see these guys are going to, Oh, and actually, Jack Quinn. I think Jack Quinn has also got 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points in 6 games for Rochester in the AHL.
Yeah.
So these guys are ripping up the AHL at a young age, their first year. And I think they're going to, there's a bunch of guys there that'll be in the NHL. Seth Jarvis is as good as any of those guys. He's so good. And then the guy that's hurt and we know was going to be out for a while that I thought would have been on the team this year is Dylan Holloway. He's a big power forward. He looks like he's physically ready to play in the NHL. So this is going to be really exciting. Askarov's doing the job in the KHL. Anton Lundell, we know is out right now, but he looks like he's going to be a top 6.
He's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt. And then you go down the line, like Caden Gooley's doing well in the minors. Actually, was he in the AHL? He didn't go back to Prince George, did he?
Yeah, he's a WHL.
Yeah, 8 points in 7 games in Prince George. Yep. Lucas Reichel looks good, but this guy, Pierre, are you surprised at how well Dawson Mercer is doing for New Jersey?
Yes and no, right? I think Team Canada was the underrated players around everybody else, right? But I'm surprised the way he's just, he played right now in NHL at 3 goals. And again, last night I'm watching a lot of Devils yesterday. Again, Columbus, he's involved with everything that's going on over there. He's maybe the catalyzer of that team at that moment for them. To be honest with you, so very impressive about what he's doing about that one over there. Good for him, and we'll see about that one over there. I want to open the door because you talk about young guys. Bad news for Maverick Bourque for the Schwingen cataract.
Oh no!
Possible a major knee problem. So at least minimum 2 months. Possible he missed the Team Canada Junior 20. So I just want to mention this is happening this morning. So. Sorry, I'm going around you.
No, that's too bad for Henrik because for Maverick Bourque. Like he had a really good camp, I thought as well. And yeah, I think Dawson Mercer to me is super under the radar, but this guy's a rookie. He plays like a veteran. Yep. I mean, he's just like he does everything well. So, and you're right. When it was Alex Newhook and Dawson Mercer on the 3rd line for Team Canada, and that was maybe the most effective line most games. Yep. And you can see why. Like, if you don't have the puck, he's in your face. Like, if he doesn't have it, he's in your face and he's getting it back. And if he does have the puck, he's putting it behind you. He's scoring like 3 goals in his first 7 games. Pretty impressive. So I'm pretty excited about this. This is a guy we don't talk about as Rookie of the Year, but he's going to be in that mix, I think. Kopitar, good morning, Kai Lindstrom. Kopitar played really – if you look at Kopitar's numbers last year, Pierre, he's not missed a beat. He's had no one to play with.
He continues to, whatever the team missing, whatever the team is not great, he continues to produce like a machine. He's still at what I think at 12 points, 13 points, I believe at that moment. 13 points. I have a good weekend again with the team. I have 1 goal, but 3 assists, something like that. He was stuck at 9 points before Friday, so he got 4 points this weekend. He continues to produce. People thought at some point he will be dropped, but he continues to. So not only, he's a really one that he's been always for many years one of the best center in NHL.
Okay.
So so we are going to see him continues to doing with them where they are not on the rebuild, but almost there. So
they kind of rebooted for sure. I think if Doughty was on pace for some pretty crazy numbers. Unfortunately, he's hurt. Arvidsson being out doesn't help, but he's had a good start. Dustin Brown continues to produce. So they got a lot of pieces. The guy I was surprised at was Velarde because he had a great camp. He looked like their best player in camp. So it just shows.
Michael, I'll be honest with you, it's a team does not. I don't see this team can do a lot of things this year.
I don't think
they took advantage of Montreal and Buffalo this weekend, Michael. But great for Yafalo this weekend around. But it's a team was going to missing Doughty and Walker. And but again, a couple of players step up like John Foot have a good weekend this weekend. But your team, I think, will be like 25, 24, 26, 27 at the end of the year. They're missing a little bit too many pieces at that moment with injuries they have right now, Michael.
Yeah.
But again, they took advantage of the two worst, one team like Montreal, and they took advantage maybe Buffalo. But again, Buffalo was lead 2-0 that game. We're going to talk about this later. But again, it's a team rebuild, and we have to be patient with them. But
Yeah,
again,
we have to be patient.
yeah.
I mean, but this team is going to go as Gabe Vilardi goes. If he's playing poorly like that or not getting the opportunity, they're not going to go anywhere. If he plays the way he was showing, like, you got a second line center, and that's what they need. Alex Turcotte's not ready. The guy who's leapfrogged Alex Turcotte is Artur Kaliev. So this is kind of, if you watch this guy, you don't think this is like a 20-year-old kid. You go, oh,
yeah. So it was great to see him scoring with Capuri this weekend. Honestly, like I said, like Vilardi now play winger because he cannot produce. And it's a little bit red flag with it. But I think it's again
kind of weird.
Yeah. So it'll be very interesting. Is the team like I mentioned would be, but
they need time.
Yep.
Yeah, they might need a little bit more time. But if Vilardi can get it together, they're in good shape. So that's unfortunate that he's not there. All right,
great goal for him. A top shell, I believe. Kupari
played great, Pierre. He's a little bit older. He's 22, and you can see his speed's there. He's physically strong, and they look way better because suddenly, again, that's the big deal for them is they need a second line center, and it's not Danault. Like Danault is going to be a great third line guy that does a lot of other stuff, but he cannot produce the way they need offensively.
And welcome, Kimberly. She turned Michael. It was her birthday during the weekend, so great to see this. Canadian Bank joined us this morning. The support number one of the whatever we do, we show up. He show up. Thanks to join us this morning. And Michael Roy said that Jeff Petrie is supposed to be injured. I don't know what's going on with him, but oof.
That's not good.
It's painful to watching him play right now. And what I said during the weekend, it's not the Jeff Petrie we know, and maybe he carry on an injury because he looked terrible on many ways, and but we don't know. Maybe he played with an injury because he was supposed to be a scratch yesterday. And I don't know. It's maybe the hands still bother him. Is it the back? That he's not the Jeff Petrie we know, unfortunately. But maybe he tried to stay, in the team with the team because the team struggled. But more he stayed there, worse it is for him individual. So he got his first assist yesterday, first point this season. But like the team, it's one another right there. Struggle a lot. And
Marner with his first empty net goal. Marner looks terrible.
Marner got his first goal, and sometimes it's not always the when you go to score sheet, Michael, right? You don't know what the goal was, right? It's a goal at the end of the day. Sometimes you just need this to turn around. But the big news about this, I would say to Kelly, it was not a Marner goal. It's the change of the line. He played with Tavares, Kerfoot, and that line was a killer against Detroit that weekend. That's maybe for me was the most impact of that game. And sometimes a goal like this could turn around, get the momentum, and go all the way like them. We'll see what he's looked like. But that line was strong for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Again, a team were really impressive for what the Detroit did against them Saturday night. So anyway, just go what you have to do. I just open up. By the way, Michael, Kai Lindstrom, whatever his name is, Sweden, he live in Finland. So we have a lot of people, Michael, from Finland, Sweden.
Yeah,
like like Stefan Manberg and we have Villino. Sometimes Yamo is there. We have him. We have Nicholas usually show up. We have about 6-7 people regular, Michael, now. So it's great to see those kind of people join us the morning, afternoon, or the evening.
I love it. All right, so not impressed with Mrazek's performance. Yeah, he has not played well so far. He's a decent goalie, but he's not. He needs to be dialed in. He'll go. It's tough. Like you could see in Carolina, both goalies again under 2.0 goals against average. So that tells you a lot. That's team defense. That's the system. Toronto has the opposite of that. Toronto is chaos most nights, and it doesn't help a goalie like Mrazek who needs specific shots to be most effective. Otherwise, he gets into this very athletic old school style because he's a little bit unconventional and he'll battle for the puck, but the style of transition does not work for Peter Mrazek. Laine is playing very well. I think Laine's played. If you watch Patrick Laine, if anybody, like, it's one thing to look at the stats, and his stats are good. When I watched him live, and I've watched a couple of the Columbus games, he's confident with the puck. He's not just standing on the circle shooting, which is what I think Winnipeg had him doing. He's showing, I'm a skilled player. He can play make very well in addition to shooting. And he takes the responsibility on a lot of the shifts to take the puck up the ice, which I don't think, I think the feeling was, oh, this guy can't skate, but that's not it at all. He can play. He's a very highly skilled player, even though he's 6'5".
He scored his first goal of the 5-versus-5 this year only, but he scored 2 goals on the OT. But the shot yesterday, it's a major league shot he did. The way he released the puck get out the net so fast, it was unbelievable what he did so far. It was impressive for him. For me, it's more the assists he got so far. Yeah, 5 assists. So a little bit for me, it's a little bit impressive for me. And to see him. So both them, I think he's right, Kai. It was a great trade for Kakalian, for Jones, anyway. But my point to you is both players involved with the trade doing well right now for them.
He's been a little quiet.
Dubois with Winnipeg and him with them. Roslovic have a little bit difficult time right now, but is the team came back yesterday? When is the team's going to be that area, that division, Michael, is unbelievable. The Metropolitan Division, Michael, all the team play for 500 and plus.
Well, I mean, we kind of wondered this out loud. I think Columbus was going to surprise us, and they've played very well. I mean, they're going to be very competitive, like truly competitive. And they have enough talent there that if Laine's playing well, Bjorkstrand looks great, Pierre. Like, he looks like he's taken another step in his development. Werenski's living up to his.
Well, Werenski played 30 minutes yesterday, and then it was the first really good game for Corpusilo yesterday. He struggled a little bit in the beginning of the year. Elvis wasn't doing well so far. But Corpusilo stepped up yesterday again. Again them. It turned out they missed a little bit Boris because he's hurt. But again, overall, that team is a bit, it's going to be another team like you just saw with the Dodgers, the Kings. Okay, a little bit more
on the bubble there.
Right? But the team is going to be between 20 to 25, 26. The prime, Michael, they play in a very hard division in Atlantic. That's the reason why.
I would not be surprised to see them get 36 wins.
And that's give them 72 points. So, well, it's a little that's pretty much what he can get, honestly. I
think they're going to be like an 85, 90-point team. I might think they're going to surprise us. They won't be in the playoffs, but they'll be close. They're just way better than we thought. I mean, they just play very well.
Yeah, better, Michael. But to compete against Islanders, Carolina, and those Washington, they don't have enough yet. That kind of the lineup.
That is true. The guy that we have to watch now is Cole Sillinger. He's played 8 games. Will he play? Will he stay after 9?
Well, that's the key right now, right? The coach like him a lot. That's the key about that one there. So it'll be interesting about him. I think I have more chance to him to stay compared to Chernikov about that, right? His time is drop a little bit, but I don't know.
Is he really 6'2"?
Yep.
I don't know about that. I don't think he's 6'2", Pierre. I'd be very surprised if he's 6'2". Anyways, I think that's a story to keep watching. And this week, do they keep him or do they move on? All right. So last night we saw again Arizona. Unfortunately, the Coyotes had a really close game against a really good team. The one thing I'm impressed with is they have not I can't pronounce his name. Vizmelka again turns in a great performance for Arizona. Like, this is a nice find. This is a legitimate 25-year-old goalie that he's going to make them competitive. They need to be better as a team, but they might have a decent goalie here. He's consistently turned in pretty good performances. And
he did very well again. The Carolina, every time that, and Carolina pushed hard on against him, and then he made a couple of big saves. That the only good news about this with a team with 0-8 or 0-9 right now is like they compete against the best team in NHL. So it was great to see them. And, that game could be another way, but um, that's pretty much a little bit concerned me.
Yeah.
Chin Run,
Yeah.
this, you have 0 goals, 0 assists in the beginning of the season. He was on the penalty box during that winning goal, crash checking in the corner with Shemnikov, I believe. Unfortunately, that happened to him. But I don't know. He's just not
No,
what he was last season. Scored what,
Yeah,
16, 18 goals.
yeah.
So a bit, maybe with the team he is right now, I don't know. But it's sad to see that.
Yeah,
And
you'd like to see a lot more from him. He has not played great, and I realize the team around him is not great, and the goaltending has been rough. But it's improved with this guy. This seems like their number one, and then the other guy seems to be like their number two. So it's going to be interesting to watch. When will they get their first win? It's going to be a while. Christian Fischer scores last night. Lawson Krause is trying. At least you can say that. Martin Necas finally gets his first goal. So everything Carolina's been doing, they've been doing without Martin Necas because he's had a slow start. D'Angelo gets
people complaining because Suzuki, Caulfield, and all those guys, they have 0 goal, but they are not the only ones struggle.
Yeah.
Necas have nothing this year. Honestly, 4 points for him, play on the top 6 and play between that. Is a little bit concerned about this, but that's happened about this. For me, it's more about for me right now, 2 players for the Carolina. I watched the last 2 games, maybe 4 of the 8 game. It's really Frederik Andersen and Tony DeAngelo. You talk about GM, find a way to patch up their team at some point with fun things and fun option. And some other GM go to another direction. Imagine Tony DeAngelo with Montreal Canadiens right now. Everybody was push him out, and because behavior, everything like that. But he's been a guy during his career of 60 points, I believe, something like that. And he pro right now. He's right now become the Doug Hamilton of them, and he have only $1 million. So give you an idea what he did in the past. So this year so far, he's really the for me is maybe the best signature right now in NHL for this season at that moment.
I wondered this because, we heard all the reports. We know that he's a bombastic guy. He's from New Jersey, Pierre, and I wonder how much of it is his personality versus the New York personality, because they don't always meld very well. And he seems to be fitting in fine in Carolina. I mean, it's kind of crazy, like 9 points in 8 games, plus 9. And he looks like, you're right. I think this is the best signature of the offseason for any team.
For the money you get, it's worth it.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yep.
You can pay him.
That's a great. Same thing with Frederik Andersen right now for that team for sure. And then, Jarvis got an assist, his first point, and then he was playing on a power play, Michael.
This is a player that is going to turn out to be a top player. I just don't see this guy not being a 60, 80 point player someday. Like, he's just got that ability. He's determined. He's not tall, but he's strong, and his skill set's really, really high. Like, I thought when he was drafted, I'm always like, why are we always overlooking Seth Jarvis? Because even on Team Canada, he was kind of down on the rung. And in Portland, Pierre, he was a killer in the WHL. Like, absolutely would single-handedly take apart teams. And Freddie Andersen, this is a great news story for them. Although Ranta has not played well, you don't need him right now. I wouldn't be surprised to hear if he's hurt.
He played 1 game so far, but the reason why is because Andersen doing well and did not play a lot of back-to-back games. So they go with Andersen right now. That's the reason. When you're going to be a back-to-back game, he's going to be there, Ranta, for sure about this. But I want to mention to you also, like, what's Rod Brind'Amour is good. He can read. God. He can figure out. So what he did yesterday, you know what? He put Jarvis on power play. So he trusts the young kids. So you know what, buddy? I'm going to trust you. Go play power play, show what you can do. So that's another way you teach and you get confidence with your players on that. So I think it was great about that one over there. And I want to mention, I'm not going to be live tonight because I have only 3 games and I have to do something else. But the show at 5 o'clock, and then he's going to have a couple of videos during the day.
Cool. Well, we saw, unfortunately, Montreal fell back into the loss column. The one good news story I'd say for Montreal is Mike Hoffman continues to put in pucks, and Drouin's got another assist there. Jake Evans gets his first goal. I think you're right. I think Petrie's been playing hurt and may have an additional injury on top of it. And so this is just a situation that we see this in the NHL where guys play hurt because they're needed, but they don't get better. And that's a problem because he never hits back. And they're really over relying on him, right? Like he should be a second pairing right shot D, but he's not. He's basically their top guy. So it's kind of rough.
Yep. And they lost Gallagher and they lost Perreault. So Gallagher is day today. He's going to be reevaluated today. And then on the Perreault, it's a minimum 2 or 3 weeks with bad eyes. So his retina get out of his socket.
Oh, my God. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, the guy that honestly has not played well still, and I think could use a change of scenery, is John Gibson. Even though he gets the win yesterday, he's an .889 save percentage. His numbers initially were okay, but overall, these have dipped back into not great territory. His first games are really weighing this number. This number keeps going up. His goals against keeps going up. His save percentage keeps coming down. This is a high-quality goaltender. I just don't know. I think it's too comfortable in Anaheim to lose. I just don't think there's any pressure on this guy. And if you put him in a better team, he's going to excel. He's not getting.
I'll be honest with you. He did very well against Montreal. He made the big save, right?
Yeah.
But again, I would say to honestly, is the defensive at Anaheim overall. They struggle. They give a lot of goal, and I mean, like they don't have a lot of. You can say Fowler, Lindholm, and Manson, and but again, already Shattenkirk and Lindholm are not great on the defensive side. They are good on the offensive side. Dressel learned around that. Benoit is another one over there. So they play with, honestly, Michael, with three great good defensemen. The 3 other, like Shattenkirk, he can add offensive, but defensive is not good.
He should not be a top pairing deep here.
So,
although,
and I said Gibson, he's great, but you're right, his number dropped. But on the flip side, the defensive in front of him, it's a young team again. It's just happening about that one over there.
Look at stats for Shattenkirk, Pierre. 10 points in 10 games.
Yeah, he have a good start with the first 4 goals for a game. You have a very good start. But again, a 5-point guys on power play. So that's what he produced. That's another quarterback and NHL quarterback in it. So that's what his specialty. And that's what I said. His defensive is obviously struggle. But it's another team, Montreal.
They're not going anywhere.
Nowhere. And they took advantage of that. They finished they stopped the 6th game with winless. Now they win yesterday. But the biggest news of this game was more about the captain, Ryan Getzlaf, become 989 point, I believe.
Yep, surpassed Teemu Selanne.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. I feel like he retired 3 years ago, Pierre. The way he's played, he seems to be coming alive this year, but now maybe we know why. It'll be interesting. He seems to be very situational. I think he's always had the capability of being, successful, but I think right now he just.
I think also, Kai, first of all, thanks for your kind of words. I appreciate a lot. But I think he make a big statement about his dad right now, Michael.
Yeah, he said that Ranta lost his dad a short time ago. It affected him more in the game than he thought mentally. And yeah, we need to figure this out a little bit.
But he's right about that one over there about his dad. Kotkaniemi, his dad right now. So sometimes we don't know all these fun things going on behind the scenes, right? You talk about Joel Munson, his dad battle right now, the cancer over there, and talking about that, everything on that this weekend. And no, it's not baseball, it's not hockey related, but the baseball lost a great second baseman with the Boston Red Sox, great broadcaster, Jeremy Remy, lost his battle after 13 years fighting the cancer, Michael, at 68. So Jeremy Remy, and lost the battle. So we lost another one. one of the great athletes and everything like that. So just want to mention this. So Kyle, no problem. Farrell,
Pharrell Humongous says, please explain about Gibson. Did you assert that no pressure equals poor performance? In his case, I just don't think he has any pressure on him to be the best that he can be, because you look at this guy and he should be one of the top 7 or 8 goalies in the NHL. And I feel like that he wants to win, but there's something there where it's just like, I don't think if you come to Anaheim, it's not the same as playing in, pick a team. Toronto.
but again, Michael, he played with a team that's not have a great performance around. Like,
Right.
you know what I
He
mean? Like,
doesn't-
you put any goaltender right now, I don't know, like Detroit the last 2-3 years, right? Bernier, Michael, have big GAA, but his save percentage was about 90.910, right?
So Pharrell,
that's the problem you get those kind of team. So unfortunately, that's happening with him right now. He played with a team where is a struggle about that one over there, and unfortunately, but again, I would trade him anytime to get him. 28 years old, a contract built around $6 million for again 4 or 5 more years, and I believe the Oilers should knock the door over there.
I would. Oh my God, I agree. I totally agree, Pierre. Like you could move a Koskinen and a prospect. It would be the finishing piece. Him in Edmonton, he would show you what the real John Gibson is in Edmonton. He would be the difference maker in Edmonton. And for them, and they could get a really good prospect, a Philip Broberg, pick up the contract of Koskinen so the money works out. And this would work out for everybody very well. He's not going to achieve his potential in Anaheim. They're in no hurry to turn this thing into something. They're waiting and waiting and waiting. And they've been doing this for years, Pierre. And if you're at that, if you're at the practices, if you're watching them, because they're like 15 minutes from here, well, the difference is they have hockey guys that are running that and an owner that wants to win now. And they've been given the green light to do that. And in Anaheim, there's no pressure from ownership. There's no pressure from fans. It's basically like, well, we're going to lose. You can tell. It's a very different stage, maybe you can say, but this has been going on for years. So you can say they're being patient. The GM came out last year and said, "Oh, I left the coach out to dry." What?
But again, I think Farrell turned the lights for me a lot. You're going to see Frederick Anderson, Michael. Yeah. How he's going to perform more this year like he did never before because he had nobody, he had no mic under his mouth when he lost 2 games straight.
Correct. But and then you look at from ownership, they are committed to winning in Carolina. They got a coach that's serious, that everybody respects, and there's no gaps there. They don't have this constant, meddling media. Yes, I think that's a big deal in Toronto. And they have very capable GM who's put the pieces together. And they've got an owner that's very, very involved. And I just think in Anaheim, none of that's in place.
Our friend Michael Greg Sanchez in the house today, Michael. Greg is a new subscriber of the show a couple of days ago. So welcome, Greg. Thanks for joining us this morning.
If you're here in Anaheim, you would probably agree if you go hung out the rink a little bit. Go to the Great Park.
I don't know why he disagree.
In Anaheim, they are not committed to winning right now, Pharrell. And John Gibson came out at the beginning of the season, Pierre, and said this. He goes, "I'm sick of losing, and something's got to change." He said it. And I don't think that commitment's there. You can tell. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. So I think I would,
if they want to disagree more about Toronto, I believe. He's not talking more about Anaheim. I think he's talking more about Toronto.
Toronto's always a weird. Yeah, no, I know that. I'm saying come over and hang out at the arena and watch them practice and talk to the players. There's not right now that commitment. I think LA is kind of leapfrog Anaheim here. They still have some pretty good veterans, and the young guys are getting better and better and better. And Rob wants to win.
I think, Michael, what Anaheim is doing is rebuild. That's what they're doing right now. They rebuild with prospect, and I think they have a lot of prospect over there. They got Strom, and they have Zegras, Restel. I think it's the team on the rebuild right now. And for me, was the most disappointment this weekend for Washington was Maxime Comtois. Comtois is
He's
struggled
played
0 point this year. Every time that he missed a couple of pieces, the puzzle over there. It's a red flag when you see a captain play the most minute on the ice during a game, 23 minutes against Montreal. That's a big sign with there. For me, it's about what do you do with Manson? What do you do with Fowler? Not Fowler, Lingholm right now. They have no contract for the upcoming season. We'll see what they're going to do about that one with there. But it's a team, again, on rebuild, and it takes time. It just takes time. When you have a goaltender like him, what you do with him, that's the biggest thing. But Carey Price been there. Carey Price go through this, and it would be interesting what they're going to do with Anaheim Ducks for the next couple of years over there.
Yeah, I think the things that were red flags for me, Comtois is like really surprising. I don't think anybody's putting pressure on Comtois to be the player he was last year, so that it's up to him. Zegras, I thought had a very poor camp, and I'll tell you the player that I don't know if he's overrated or disengaged is Josh Manson. I think Josh Manson would like to leave. You can see it on the ice in practice. You can see it in the games. He's just kind of like not 100% dialed in. And I think both those guys, if they went to contenders, would be dialed in. Cam Fowler's always, Cam Fowler. I've watched him for a long time, and he doesn't seem to let up at all. I don't know. I just think they're not that young on paper. Like they got Henrik, right? They've got Reichel. They've got Silverberg. Like you start going down and you start counting how many older guys they have that should be producing, and they don't.
No, on the flip side, they're missing a couple of pieces, right? Raquel is out. Silverberg was out.
Yeah.
So they have a couple of pieces out right now for them also at the same time. So that's unfortunate for Montreal. Don't take advantage of both teams this weekend. They should win both games. But it did not happen for that part over there. But Kyle mentioned about Tim Thomas, but you want to talk about Brendon Rafalski. What Brand Michael, he was in Florida for the Everblades on the program AAA. His son played there. Now he moved north. Okay. Rafalski's son played more north. I don't know exactly. I think he's in Michigan, New York area, something like that. So
he was at CompuWare.
Okay.
I think he was he Bell Tire or CompuWare? It was one of the two. Okay. It was CompuWare.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was sorry, Pierce. Little Caesars.
All right.
Little Caesars. Yeah, he was at
Rafalski. So I remember I met him a couple of times. I coached against him. So a great defenseman, underrated in NHL. Not a big guy, small guy. It reminds me a lot of Tony Crook on the size wise.
Exactly. Yep. Very much like that.
Yep.
Well, I mean, so some good news for the Kings in the last two games. I thought they played very well. We see Kopitar get his 7th goal. He gets an assist as well last night. Allison looked good for Buffalo, though. This guy continues to march on. Asplund looks good for them. They're talking about a team that'll be missing some pieces. That's going to be them. The one D you mentioned is Toby Bjornfot, and he is like only 21, I think.
Yeah, he's another rookie right now. Take a little bit longer to develop, right? He got his first 2 points. Not an offensive player, but good defenseman overall.
Yeah, he's not big.
You know what I mean? Like some defense guy, Michael, take a little bit longer. He cannot be
he's only 20.
Ramis Dallin at an 18, right? So him.
He's only 20.
Yeah. Yeah. But the expectation for the team was big on him last year. Sometimes you feel pressure. And now he's going to, you can see now he filled his spot, and he fit well right now with them. And he took advantage right now, Michael, the Drew Doughty and also Walker out. And I think that's the reason why you can see develop better. So improvement for him. I agree with you about that, Michael, about him. Good hockey player.
When we were at the good morning, Yarmo's joined us. Moy.
Anyway, Michael, we have more people from Finland at any place around the world right now.
I'll just say at Toby Bjornfot, when I talked to Rob Blake about him, we were watching him together at the prospect camp before COVID. And it's like he was 18. And I'm like, I think you stole this guy. Like he's only By the way, he's listed as 6 foot. I don't think he's 6 foot, Pierre. I think he's like 5'10", 5'11", maybe. He's not very big, but he's smart. He's so smart. He makes the right choices with the puck. He's not a physically strong guy, but he wins because of his smarts and he's just, I think he's just a very good top 4 type guy. He's not going to be a 1 or a 2. That's not really him. But that's a good pickup for them. And he played well last night and the night before. I think they can rely upon him, and it's great. It's not often you can rely upon a 20-year-old defenseman to be, just solid. All right, the other final game last night that we wanted to take a look at, Columbus beating New Jersey. This is a pretty good game, Pierre. We saw great performances from players that, some like Pavel Zacha, I think, is the second leading scorer in Devils right now. Dougie Hamilton, he looks like he's in charge. I really like the way he's playing. 6 points in 7 games. Big free agent signing in the offseason. So I think this is working out really well for New Jersey. They're missing still Mackenzie Blackwood, but they're getting pretty solid goaltending. Korpisalo, you mentioned last night, had a big game for them. Laine looks good with Voracek. I really like that combo. Voracek popped in a couple assists last night, so that's good news for them. The captain, Boone Jenner, gets an unassisted goal near the end to try to tie it up, and then they lose in overtime, or actually in the shootout with Voracek scoring the game winner. So big game for Voracek. We know that Cam Atkinson has worked out very well in Philadelphia. So both these players, this trade's working out well, I think, for both teams.
Voracek didn't score no goal yet, right? But he bring another dimension of the team over there. It's a 2 team on the direction to get better with time, right? Patient, a couple of prospect around. And it's a 2 team, Michael, flip everything quickly. What I'm talking about is 2 teams struggle for a couple of years. And suddenly, they trade for Laine, Roslovic, and, and then usually get, Edmonton, and they get some prospect coming around every time. That. So it's a 2 team. Sometimes we think sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but sometimes it takes a little bit faster. So 2 teams on the merge to become great in NHL. But yesterday, Michael, was impressed by Jesper Bratt, the 63. His speed was unbelievable yesterday. He played a solid game with Dawson Mercer for them. Tatar, very quiet for them. Hamilton, Michael, 10 shot yesterday. 16 attempt shot, 10 shot on the net.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was unbelievable, Hamilton, like the way he played yesterday, but cannot go through the goaltender, Coprocelo. Like I said, it was maybe his best game of the year yesterday. But again, Lenny scored, and the captain show what he does, and they tie the game. He come back. Not much during the OT, but again, and then on the shootout, they missed the net. Like Columbus at the beginning, the 2 shot, it was Laine and someone else missed the net completely, and then they come back strong, and then they find a way to score. But great, exciting game to watch. I honestly we watched at the end of the game, but it was great to watching the last 5-6 minutes. Farrell said, "Look, that kid doesn't look really good." I absolutely agree with you about that one over there.
I love this kid. He's a Newfoundland-born player, just like Alex Newhook. We loved him on Team Canada, and he had a great camp. And this is not a fluke. He just works hard. He's in your face. He knows what to do, and he's got some skill. He's got better skill than people realize. Good morning to Bud the Monkey. We're doing great. Do you guys have any info about why Alex Turcotte is not brought up to the Kings? Is he struggling? He didn't have an amazing camp. When I watched him in camp,
4.7 game, Michael, with 1 goal, 3 assists over there.
Yeah, so he's doing okay. He's got 1 goal. He's not, this is a guy that played in the AHL last year. They expect a lot more from him. He's a top 4 or top 5 pick. So I think he's reliable defensively, but they want more offensively from him. The guy that's ahead of him that I'm surprised is not in the NHL is Anderson Dolan. Like Jared Anderson Dolan, I think he's got 5 or 6 points in the AHL. So he's, I think right now, probably going to come up before Turcotte. I think they're not too worried about, Alex, but you look at him, he's kind of like down on the depth chart right now, scoring wise. So he's decent. He's in the mix. He's a reliable 2-way player. Tyler Madden has looked really good when I watched him, and Jared Anderson Dolan. I think both these guys are probably ahead of him right now to come up. And Samuel Fajimo at some point's got to get up. Like, this guy is a pure goal scorer. He is so much better than I ever realized. He had a great camp. He can really shoot the puck. And once again, like, you look, 39 total AHL games, he's got 13 goals. He's just very consistent offensively. I would think that those guys are going to come up before Alex. That's kind of what I'm seeing when I watch them. The other guy that's interesting, who I think has taken a step in his development, is Sean Durzi. I did not think he was going to be an NHL player, Pierre. I'm kind of changing my tune a little bit. I think he's probably at least a bottom 6 in the NHL at some point. He's really improved defensively. And the guy that I think they stole in the draft is 2 guys. Helga Grands. This guy's going to be a big time top, at least a top 6. I think he's like a 5-6D, but a guy you can really rely on. He's big and he can skate. And then Jordan Spence is not big and he can really skate. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them pull those guys up at some point. And I think all of them right now are playing a little bit better than Turcotte. I think this just might be a year in the AHL for Turcotte with a few NHL games. Logan Dushko has 7 points in Charlotte, so that's interesting. I thought he had a good prospect camp.
Overall, he was pretty good. The problem is he's stuck with the ladder and Florida. So, you know what I mean? Like, you cannot do too much about that. That's the front slate. That's what they have right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot changing. Like, right now, Florida don't need to.
I don't think he's got any opportunity in Florida right now.
No, I don't see. And Florida don't need to do anything.
They don't need to.
I mean, they don't need to trade. They don't need to do anything. Let the ship go. They struggle right now. They lost Lundell at Sherry, and Thornton the last game. Thornton, if it's only day-to-day, will be fine. But he find a way. Lesteranen pick it up over there. They miss also Bennett, Michael, the last game against Boston. So he missing 4 center against the Boston Bruins. That's a big problem there during the weekend.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But again, he's going to compete with, Eponyemi and Derisenko and everything like that. I think Derisenko play his last chance with the Florida Panthers. After that, it will be a decision. They have to go a little bit by like Bachstrom, Henrik Bachstrom. So.
And he's playing pretty decent in Chicago. Chicago, no wins. Coyotes, no wins. So that's a rough situation. I did not anticipate that. I thought Chicago would be a little bit, but I think there's a lot of distractions in Chicago right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there if they can pull this out. Like, at this point, they made moves in the offseason, but the guy that made the moves is gone. So I don't know if the leadership structure is in place there and what they're going to do long term. They might just take their time here and not worry about it too much. In which case, I would think guys like Fleury would be up for discussion to go somewhere else.
Definitely.
Well, overall, good stories here with Dawson Mercer. Pavel Zacha's playing great. Dougie Hamilton's turned out really well. And I know he doesn't have any goals, but this is what Voracek is. He is a pass-first player. He's a very good playmaker. You see in the shootout, he's got skill to score, but he doesn't care about that generally.
On the flip side, Cameron Gibson doing very well with the Flyers. We already 7 goals.
Six, 7 goals. So big time. Like, each team, I think, got what they needed, Pierre.
Oh, yeah.
Cam Atkinson's he's got 6 goals in 7 games.
Yep.
So this has worked out really well for both teams, I think, in the end. All right, let's take a look at the games we have on tap, and then we'll wrap it up. So tonight we have 3 games.
Yep.
Capitals and Lightning. That should be an interesting one. Lightning.
Yeah, Capitals going to miss out O'Shea, Backstrom, and now Nick Down. Nick Down is out now for injury. So 3 players out over there. We know Lightning missing Kucherov. Vanecek is going to be between the pipe for the Capitals, and we expect Vasilevsky to be there.
Man, they're playing Vasilevsky nonstop here. Senators and Blackhawks. Will the Blackhawks get their first win tonight?
I believe so. I don't know why. I just feel I wake up like this morning. I don't know. I'd be wrong. I'm not sure what I'm going to be my final decision about this, but Senator missing a lot. Pinto now and Colin White. And I know they beat the Dallas Stars last week. They beat them on the road, and now they play again this weekend. Chicago. But I don't know. It's a team right now. They're missing Matt Murray. I don't know. Matt Murray will be back between the pipes, but it would be interesting to see this. And yeah, we don't know if
Oilers and
Patrick can be back also, by the way.
yeah, that's a rough one. Oilers and Kraken.
Kraken, it's they are still in the race, by the way, in the playoff at 3-5-1. They play against the Rangers. I'll be honest with you, Michael. We talk about Frederic Anderson. We talk about Dubois or Kyle Connor or Tony D'Angelo, everything like that. But geez, Chesterkin is maybe the best player right now in NHL overall. He's unbelievable. You talk about a team win above a player making an impact to win above, like the stat. Chesterkin maybe one of the best in NHL right now. What he did against Toronto, the Montreal Canadiens, every night he showed. He still a game yesterday again with them, and Adam Fox showed that we was worried about that because Fox left the game during the game at some point, came back, and he found a way to score. Adam Fox is really legit, to be honest with you. But just again, unbelievable.
Yeah, I think they're quietly. They haven't lost very many games, Pierre. The Rangers are pretty up there at the moment. 6-2-1. So they're playing 700 hockey in a pretty tough division. So that's going to be really interesting. It's kind of what we wondered if they would do. Zibanejad looks great. Chris Kreider continues to be ripping it up. He gets another goal, his 7th this year. He's playing on a kind of like a third line with Barclay Goodrow, but he's got 7 goals and he doesn't need no assists. This guy's a big prototypical power forward.
I'm curious about why they don't give him the captain, Michael. I'm curious about why they don't give the captain to him. Been there for many. Good role, Michael. 3rd goal. That's something we have to mention also. He's not talented for that kind of, like he's, it was always Coleman and Gore, right? He would get a goal left and right, but him to 3 goals. My only concern about New York Rangers is Capo. That's only one. He came back from injury right now, but Capo still not what we expect so far. But overall, that team is going to be great. Fun to watch. Good team overall. So it'll be interesting what happened with them.
But yeah, Capo Caco, he's had a hard time. I didn't even know he was back. No points in 5 games. He's coming off an injury. We definitely expect more from this guy. What was I going to mention? I mean, Adam Fox, take a look. And Adam Fox right now, 9 points in 9 games.
Yep.
So we're seeing what he is. I was kind of hoping he would drop back, but I guess that's not realistic. He's a really smart player. He can really play.
He's really real if you do that. So it's good to see him overall, that part of it. And Panarin is good, but he didn't find a way. The Panarin we know, only 1 goal in 9 games. So it's not Panarin. But again, new system, new players, new coach, return that. But you still have 8 points overall about that one over there. So it'll be interesting. Yamo, a couple of comments whether you think Senator win, other 6-4 goal, always 6-4 goal. Just again look great for Farrell. And Yamo said Kako is a passer, not a very good shoot. I think
I don't think that's true.
For me, he's not involved enough, Michael. He reminds me a lot of Kokanemi at the beginning of their career right now. That's why they compare each other career, but both of them did not reach their expectation yet. My point about them, it's not. I don't want to compare about. It's just like both of them should get a little bit more involved. Whatever Kokanemi scored a 3rd goal yesterday, they gave him to him where I don't know, he tipped the puck to Apache, but that's what happened yesterday. But also, who are your top 3 pass currently in NHL, I believe you think?
I mean, McDavid and Draisaitl are ridiculous. Aho is really good. Panarin is one of the most elite playmakers, I think, out there. Like he's a really great passer. I still think Nicholas Backstrom. I'm trying to think of who would be ahead of those guys.
I think Backstrom is one of them. I just see a pass this weekend. I see many games. I forgot sometimes the guy who did it, but they have many of them. I think honestly, Michael, and I know he's not young anymore, but I think Joe Thornton is one of the most best pass the puck in NHL.
I mean, historically, for sure, and he still
Yeah.
can. He
Not
still has
not
good
right
skill
now,
for
but
it.
I'm
Yeah,
talking in the past, right? Another
yeah.
one I mentioned to you, Michael, is maybe also a Jason Spezza.
I mean, it's amazing. This guy can still play, Pierre.
Yeah. Yeah.
He might be better
Again, I'm not
than,
talking, I'm talking about what
yeah,
the, for
historically.
me,
Yeah.
those kind of players I was said to you. And I think someone he become that one, Patrick Kane, Michael. I think we don't
I
give him
was
enough
going to
credit,
just say that.
right?
Patrick Kane is an insane playmaker. I think you are correct.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
we don't talk enough about his passing ability is
Yep.
like,
I agree
his
with
skill
you.
level is ridiculous. But when you watch him in the games, like, he is such a great passer. Wow, where is Patrick Kane? Has he played any games?
He is hurt because of COVID-19.
Still, right?
Yep.
Yikes.
Farrell said Kopitar. Unfortunately, he is maybe right because Kopitar does not play. I know what I'm talking earlier. It was Huberdeau. I think
Yeah,
Huberdeau is underrated on pass.
yeah,
Look again with Barkov again this weekend. And but again, that was Huberdeau I was thinking earlier. I forgot who it was, but it was
yeah.
Huberdeau. Kopitar Farrell, my only concern is because he
He's
need
not.
a sniper more. Like he needs someone score more the goal. And for C, score more goal what he passed the puck because not many around him. But he is right, and I think underrated. I think Kopitar is maybe one of them in NHL. And unfortunately, playing California does not help. But he is. I agree with Farrell about that one over there. Backstrom also. Another
When
great
you
show,
watch
Michael. I don't
Kopitar,
know what.
when you watch Kopitar, he's not fancy.
Yep.
And he doesn't look like he has, you're like, he's just a big guy, but he really understands the game. He doesn't look like he has a high skill level. He's just very consistent. He's north south. And
Yep.
and he doesn't, so it's weird. Like, you compare him to the elite passers of the game. I don't know if he sits in that category. The way he generates his offense is very consistent, very effective. He's impossible to stop when he wants to keep going.
It was
And I
fun,
think,
Michael, this weekend because Montreal played at the strange hours, right? So it gave me a chance watching more Florida and Carolina, everything like that. And Florida,
yeah,
Michael, because you use the word fancy. Sometimes I feel Florida try to do too much fancy and not not complicate, but they try to get that crazy goal and not to try to shoot a puck and crash to the net.
that's
Like
not
that.
Kobe.
And that's maybe when you have those kind of elite players that's become that way, right? Maybe possible. But they shut down this weekend, Michael. Marchand, Bergeron, and Pasnak all week. They did not do anything that line. Whatever they beat my Florida 3-2 and shootout, that line was completely neutralized by the Florida Panthers around this weekend. And but again, that was great to see watching them about that one there. But UB is a top passer. I agree with you about that one there.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add before we leave, Michael?
Nope. Another exciting week ahead.
It was great. Great day today. It was a great show overall. Thanks everybody to join us. Don't forget to click on the likes. Of course, Michael will be back tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern time. What's going on with us today, Michael? We have only one show at 5 o'clock Eastern time. Tonight I'll be out. It's Monday, only 3 games. I want to take a break at the same time. But we're going to have a couple of power ranking video from the Hockey Nation Live show. And then today I suggest the Montreal Canadiens to send Cole Caulfield and Laval. You're going to see my video the next couple of minutes, maybe 1 hour. And that's pretty much it for me.
I'm excited. So it should be another exciting week in hockey. Thanks, Pierre, for all your help. And we look forward to your show later. And then we'll talk tomorrow morning.
Thank you so much. Have an amazing, great day. Everybody. Yeah.